It hurt so bad. Indiana teachers sh0t with plastic pellets during active sh00ter training. An active shooter training exercise at an Indiana elementary school in January left teachers with welts, bruises, and abrasions after they were shot with plastic pellets by the local sheriff's office conducting the session. The incident, acknowledged in testimony this week before state lawmakers, was confirmed by two elementary school teachers in Monticello, who described an exercise in which teachers were asked by local law enforcement to kneel down against a classroom wall before being sprayed across their backs with plastic pellets without warning. "They told us, this is what happens if you just cower and do nothing," said one of the two teachers, both of whom asked Indy Star not to be identified out of concern for their jobs. "They shot all of us across our backs. I was hit 4 times. It hurt so bad." Now, these teachers and the state's largest teachers union want to stop this from happening in other Hoosier schools. The Indiana state, "What we're looking for is just a simple statement in this bill that would prohibit the shooting of some type of projectile at staff in an active shooter drill," said Gail Zirales, Director of Government Relations for the ISTA, during testimony in support of before lawmakers Wednesday. The White County Sheriff said Thursday that his department has conducted similar training before but, after receiving a complaint, will no longer use the fire-powered device, called an airsoft gun, with teachers. Teachers at Meadowlawn Elementary School were supposed to be receiving what is called ALICE training, ANA options. Thousands of schools across the country, including many in Indiana, are using ALICE already. Shooting teachers, "I've worked with teachers in other districts who have gone through ALICE, on this did not happen," said Barbara Deerdorf, an ISTA official who represents 16 school districts, including the Twin Lakes District and Meadowlawn Elementary. "This is not the norm," Deerdorf said. The Meadowlawn incident, which she said she learned about several weeks ago, marked the first time she'd heard of such practices being used on teachers in active shooter training. White County Sheriff Bill Brooks, whose department led the training in question, said it has conducted active shooter training with schools for several years and has previously used the airsoft gun. The plastic pellets they used are 4.6 mm in diameter, slightly larger than a standard BB. Brooks became sheriff in January and said he couldn't say if or how many times teachers had been shot with it previously. He was present for the day. Brooks said all the teachers involved signed up to participate. He said the department, Indy Star has brought you the news for 116 years. Both of the Meadowlawn teachers who spoke to Indy Star said they were not warned by the officers beforehand that anyone would be shot. They said they were given. The teachers said the airsoft gun was used in several other exercises as well. Neither of them were. All teachers in the first scenario were shot, though, where they were lined up facing a wall and shot across their backs. One of the teachers said she was waiting in the library with her colleague Sauce. The first small group of teachers was led into a classroom for one session. "The first group went in and we heard them scream and yell," she said. "We thought, what?" The group came back out and whispered a warning to the next group. The officers had told them not to tell their colleagues what had happened here, but she still wasn't expecting what came next. "It was like a quick spew of those pellets," she said. "Most of us got hit." She said she had welts and one spot where the pellet broke her skin. It was scabbed over. Both teachers Indy Star spoke to said all Meadowlawn teachers and some cafeteria staff went through the training in January. There were 2 sessions. A picture posted to the schools on January 4 shows teachers sitting around wooden tables with a law enforcement officer standing before them. It's captioned, "Thankful for the partnership between our school and local law enforcement. Today our staff." Twin Lakes Superintendent Michael Galvin released a statement Thursday, saying that the district has met with the Sheriff's Department and the local chapter of the Teachers Union about the training. Julie Top, Vice President of Member Representation for Twin Lakes Classroom Teachers Organization, said she met with the Meadowlawn teachers last week and heard the same story from more than a dozen different teachers. They voluntarily signed up for this training, however they had no idea they were going to be shot, she said. Ken Trump, a school safety expert in Ohio who works with schools nationwide, said he had not heard of another incident in which teachers were shot with plastic pellets, but that he's heard many stories of teachers getting injured during active shooter training. Sadly, it doesn't surprise me, he said. With some of these Trump said he's heard of a growing number of workers' compensation claims and even some litigation stemming from teacher injuries during these types of training programs. An Iowa school and, oftentimes, these programs are taught in a train-the-trainer model. One teacher said the officers told the Meadowlawn staff that police had to go through this same training. But we are not police officers, she said. The quoters who spoke with Indy Star said they wanted to do the training. Even after we didn't want to quit the training because it seemed important, said one teacher. It really was more than, she said. The other training exercises were useful, including one in which an officer pretending to be an active shooter shot the airsoft gun while teachers hid under desks and were given tennis balls to throw at him until he stopped shooting. One of the provisions included in House Bill 1004 is a requirement that all schools conduct an active shooter drill at least once a year. However, the bill will be up for amendments in the Senate's Education Committee next week, and Meadowlawn teachers are hoping language will be added to keep other teachers going through what they experienced. Sheriff Brooks said that's unnecessary, though. The bill's sponsor, Republic. Wendy McNamara, I don't believe something like that should take place in an active shooter drill, she said. Call Indy Star education reporter Erica Heron at 317-201-5620 or email her at ericaheron@indystar.com. Follow her on Twitter. This article originally appeared on Indianapolis Star.
Raindrop, truck top, top smoking, no cooking the hot pot. Fucking on your bitch, yeah, that. Looking up, open the park,